So, the Democratic hopefuls, I think there's, 20, 22, I don't even remember the number at this point. 22 or so people in the Democratic race for president, and most of them just totally stink. They are lukewarm, boring, cardboard cutouts of human beings. And Cory Booker is no different. He is a loathsome character who pretends to be for you, pretends to care about you, pretends to give a shit. And he is going to absolutely faceplant on Medicare for All, because at first his mouth is moving and you think good things are coming out, but then suddenly he just gives away what he really thinks. So we're going to see him talk a little bit about Medicare for All, and he is going to him and haw his way into the bullshit second-rate position that we know he's not even going to fight for that position once elected, and he will eventually cave and give away the farm, as they would put it. So let's go ahead and watch him talk about this, and I will come back and break it down. Dude, it was right here. Here we go.
About healthcare. You are a co-sponsor of Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All, but you also say that you don't want to eliminate private health insurance.
I think we
Explain that to me, because his plan eliminates private health insurance.
Well, I support what all Americans, I think, support, which is the idea in the wealthiest nation on the planet Earth. Everyone should have access to health care. I think the best way to get there is Medicare for All, and I'm going to work towards that goal.
Okay, so that means ultimately you are fine with eliminating all private health insurance, including what's been negotiated
I've never
by
said
unions?
that, and you know this.
Well, Bernie Sanders' bill does say that there will be no duplicative private health insurance.
And
It's
what
right
I'm going
there.
to and what I'm going to say to you,
co-sponsor.
what I'm going to say to you as President of the United States,
Yes.
the first thing I'm going to do is to dramatically lower costs for Americans and expand insurance and create a glide path towards an eventual goal.
You won't be pushing for Medicare for All in the beginning, the elimination of
I'm
private.
going to be pushing on a pathway towards getting to everyone having coverage. And part of that is going to be Medicare for all who want it. We could create a really good
Well,
public
that's
option.
Medicare for all who want it is not Medicare for all. It's Medicare, that's called the public option.
Again,
It's not for all.
As I'm telling you, I have a clear goal in mind that I share with all Americans. Healthcare is a right. I think the best way to get there is Medicare for all. I'm also a realist. As a former mayor who got things done, who knows that you can't hold progress hostage for some purity.
So I want to ask Chris Hughes, who helped co-found Facebook, has now come out to say that it should be broken.
I'm going to go ahead and pause it there. They go on to talk about another interesting thing that we will discuss at a later show, the idea about breaking up these larger media companies like Facebook, Twitter ostensibly. But let's just talk about Medicare for All right now, because we already have, I mean, some serious shit to talk about in terms of just how wrong he gets it in that take. So first quoting from him, he wants to, my first priority is to expand coverage and lower costs. So that doesn't explain how. That doesn't explain what your primary goal is in getting there, what the process is in getting there, okay? Obamacare expanded coverage and lowered costs for probably the majority of people, right? And what did Obamacare still have? Thousands of people dying every year needlessly. Even before Orange Boy came along and gutted it. Remember this, okay? Thousands of people were still fucking dying before Orange Boy came along, all right? Millions of people still uninsured before Orange Boy came along. He made it a lot worse, that's clear, okay? I'm not denying that. Trump made it a lot worse, but Obamacare was not the answer. It was, like many people would say, and this has been repeated and repeated ad nauseum because it's true, it was a Band-Aid on a large, gangrenous, weeping wound. Then he goes on to say, it's Medicare for all who want it. Medicare for all who want it. Wrong. That's not, no. And this, I don't even know who this guy is. Jonathan Carl, never heard of him. Even he says, but that's not Medicare for all. That, to be clear, that's a public option. So Obama 2.0. I'm already at public option and the election's not even over. I wonder what he's going to pivot to in the general. Anyone want to take bets? I mean, we don't have to take a bet because, spoiler, he's not getting to the general. We can't hold progress hostage for some purity. No, dipshit. You misunderstand. The purity is the progress. Either healthcare is a recognized human right in this country or it isn't. You know what I'm saying? So we've had this debate, all right, as thousands and thousands and thousands of people have died year in, year out, over the entire Obama administration. Every single year, like clockwork, tens of thousands of Americans died as you had this conversation. 10 years before that, tens of thousands died. 10 years before that, tens of thousands died. I'm not having this conversation anymore. I'm not. All right, and again, come on my show and debate this with me. You can't. Even most right-wingers will not debate this anymore. And the ones who do get slayed on the spot. You know, there's a reason why so many libertarians, even at this point, you get them to cave on this. And they're like, oh, okay, well, the ones who are for minimal government and not no government, at least they will, some of them will come along and say, okay, well, if we limit the scope of government, maybe this is one of those things. Maybe this is kind of at the top of the list. Maybe the empirical evidence all over the world is kind of overwhelming at this point. So while he's flapping his gums, hemming and hawing, wringing his hands, meanwhile, we've had this conversation. It is over. It is over, Cory Booker. You sign the fuck on and step the fuck up, or we don't care about you. And he's never going to, guys. That's the point. He's never going to. And even if he does, that's one issue in a laundry list of issues that he gets wrong. Not to mention, at the end of the day, who he's fighting for is not you. Okay? Where he gets his money is immediately questionable, and it ultimately doesn't matter if he comes over on this issue because we're never going to believe him. You want to know his donors? I just pulled some random ones off. It's mostly legal, so lawyers, investment banking. It's all of those people, right? It's wealthy financiers. All right, I've got Sullivan and Cromwell, banking, finance. Those are the issues they're lobbying on. Apollo Global Management. Spoiler alert. They're kind of shady. Paul Weiss, NORPAC, which is one of the main Israel lobbies. They lobby for the billions and billions of dollars of just gross fat that we give to them all the time while they're massacring, innocent women and children. Goldman Sachs, classy. That makes the list. If that makes your top 20, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care if it was $10,000 or $10 million. I don't want to fucking hear from you. Walt Disney, Morgan Stanley, Gibbons PC, that's a law firm. JP Morgan, I don't give a shit about you, dude. You can go rot in hell for all I care, all right? And you take your Medicare for all who want it and stick it up your ass. And we'll go into more details in the next segment as we cover another Democrat who actually got this right. One who I also don't like, but they did get it right. So just know, Cory Booker is not fighting for you. He is not one of you. He is someone to be looked upon and laughed at, to be made fun of. For those of you who don't know at this point, and who the fuck doesn't know this, but as it's been repeatedly said, he is one of few Democrats who refused to vote for the reimportation of drugs from Canada to lower drug prices in the U.S. This was a basic thing. Even many Republicans, or a handful of Republicans, were on board, and it could have passed. It had such a good chance of passing. Not that I'm certain that Orange Boy would have confirmed it, but actually, I think that vote happened before Trump went into office. I don't remember. It might have been the month after or the month before, but it was around that time, so maybe ultimately wouldn't have mattered. But at the end of the day, he put the vote down as a no, and that's all that matters. So fuck this guy. Get him out of your minds. Don't fucking bother with him. All he deserves is your ire, okay? If you're going to talk to this guy, say nothing but just scorn. All right, scorn, because he has earned it. He has deserved it. So that's my takeaway from this.